Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be doing a brand new campaign with the Dark Elves for Total War Warhammer 2, and we're using the SFO mod, and this is the Bloodground update as of October. So let's go ahead and get in here. It's a special thanks to Diego for sponsoring this campaign. If you'd like to sponsor a campaign yourself, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. Let me know what you have in mind, and we can go ahead and make that happen. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and check out the rest of the campaigns on the channel as well. I just got done doing a Beastman campaign. We've recently done a Wolfric campaign, a Mazda Mundi campaign, Skaven campaign. We've just got constantly new stuff coming up, so come check it out. I'm one of the few content creators that does legendary SFO with like pretty thorough explanations. Okay, and Diego said he just wanted someone that was from up north, so I guess we're just gonna go with Malekith. I have done Hellebron, not super recently, but more recently with Malekith. I haven't played Malekith probably in a couple of years. He was one of the first campaigns that I did, I think, when Warhammer 2 came out. So we did Hellebron fairly recently, within the last year or so. So we'll skip her. We will try to confederate with her later, but we'll go with Malekith. Morathi is one of the weakest legendary lords in the game. She's just really bad. So I don't really want to play her. I had thought about Lokir. The problem is you don't get any magic early on with Lokir, and with the SFO mod, you really need magic to equalize, because you're gonna have to be doing some insane sieges early, and you just can't keep up like without magic, or it's very difficult. You'd have to play a super defensive campaign that wouldn't be really fun to watch. I think so. We'll go ahead and just go with Malekith. Now, Malekith is one of the stronger lords in the game because he's a capable fighter, and he's a pretty good. He's pretty good at magic, and he has good effects. So he gets 25% upkeep on Blackguard, Dreadspear, Bleak Swords, and Dark Shard. So all of the early game units he gets a discount on, and some of the late game units he does. And he gives out -5 leadership in the enemy region, which is pretty solid. He also has a good sort of unique unit he can get. It's like tier 5, but it's pretty strong with Manticore Lords. So yeah, overall he's solid, has a pretty good starting cast. He's got some Blackguard, Chariot's alright, and then the Reaper Bolt Thrower is actually pretty good. So legendary, very hard. Let's go ahead and get in here. Now, they did change some stuff with SFO on this mod. I can tell you the AI is much smarter. In the Beastman campaign, they would actually sally out on you sometimes when you weren't expecting it with like some cavalry to flank some of your units. They almost killed like a couple of my wizards that were hanging out outside the town because I wasn't watching, and they snuck out. So the AI seems to be quite a bit smarter than it used to be. I mean, it's still not going to be as smart as like a high tier player, but it's going to be pretty good. And they've added in some extra mechanics that make it tricky. So they said that they lowered the, or they removed the buffs that the AI gets, and they added debuffs to the player. So the AI, they say, doesn't get bonus like leadership or any of that stuff anymore, but you start getting debuffs on you. And you'll see once we start gaining property, there's something called like Imperium, and it's really harsh. Like, it's way harder than before this patch, because you start getting really bad diplomacy with everybody, and they all start coming for you. And it also hurts, I think it's your upkeep. So it hits you in the money, and it hits you in the diplomacy. So it makes it much more difficult to confederate with people, which is unfortunate because we're surrounded with confederation targets up here. But okay, let's go ahead and get in here. We'll just pop in and grab a... we'll grab a fight here really quick, and I'll explain stuff during the load screens as we go. So we're just going to go ahead and, I don't remember if we have channeling stance or not. We do. Okay. Yeah, channeling is almost always good. It gives that negative leadership is huge. Charge bonus doesn't matter with Elves, really, or with most factions. And the extra wins of magic is pretty solid. So anytime you can do like a channeling stance attack with a lot of factions, you want to do it. Okay, so we're going to go over here and attack this. Actually, let's see who, is that Grond? Who are they at war with?
Cruel sorceress.
Okay, so this will help us out with Hagen a little bit. Join war against Grond.
What web do you spin?
See if they'll pay us a bit. You always want to see if people will pay you to go to war. So, a lot of times they won't, but sometimes they will.
This is beneath
So because it's turn 1, they're not going to do it, but we're going to hit them anyways. And that will help us out diplomatically with her, and she's obviously going to be one of the first people we want to try to get in her good graces.
I hate snow. Destroy them.
Alright. So we're going to go in here. Now before we fight, we just want to encircle. The reason I didn't put the wizard in there first is because it will take away some of your movement speed if you do that. So you can always siege first and then put heroes in your army after that.
Feel their power.
And then you can still use them for the fight, but it doesn't cost you any movement speed. It's actually giving me less odds now that I have a wizard with me. Okay, well, we're gonna have to fight it. I don't know why it's making us fight it, but we're good. Okay, so Dark Elves rundown, if you haven't played them, and kind of how they work on SFO as well, is you have a slave mechanic, so every time that you win a fight, then you get slaves, and you get to allocate those slaves. It's like a resource. You get to allocate them to your towns, and it increases the income of the town at the price of public order. So you get much worse public order, but you get way better income. So you want to try to concentrate those in towns where you can afford to buy a bunch of public order buildings and you have a lot of income. Because the amount of money that you get is a percentage of the money that that town generates. So you want to put it in places that have like gold mines, ports, just all sorts of things that give you extra income.
Eager for blood.
Blackguards, cold-blooded killers.
Now Dark Elves, I'll tell you, are one of my favorite factions because they're so diverse. I mean, they're just pretty good at almost everything. I don't think they're OP per se. I think their city management's actually kind of tricky with the slaves. But
Chariots.
Someone's got a case of the giggles in there, huh?
I thirst.
But they're solid.
Without question. Slash, kill. Chariots, forward.
But they have a pretty strong early game. I would say definitely above average, because you can access these things are really good artillery. They're not like the Skaven plague claw catapults, not like that good, but they're pretty solid. Their lords are pretty good in general. Malekith specifically is very good.
Sorceress.
And part of what makes Malekith good is you get access to a fire sorcerer early, which fire is still some of the best magic. They did nerf it, and we'll talk about that. They nerfed it pretty significantly on this patch.
Cold-blooded killers.
But your units also you have really good archers. They don't have as much range, but they have like super heavy armor-piercing damage for like a tier 1 unit.
Carnage awaits. As you say.
So their early game is solid, and then their late game becomes really good too. They have these they have dragons. They have really good halberd infantry. They have really good sword infantry. They have good like large monster units. They're very, very formidable late game.
Malekith.
To destruction.
And there's this bar at the top, this mechanic where when you get a lot of kills, then your people just kind of go into a frenzy. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Onwards to murder.
Malekith. Setting forth.
Destroy. No survivors. On to slaughter. Dark shards.
Oops.
Make them bleed.
Up here.
Red spears. Chariots. Dark shards. To
Let me
destruction.
pull these up here.
Kill them. Dealers in death.
Flank around behind and get some shots here.
Going on to slaughter. On to slaughter. Kill everything. We are
But yeah, they have some of the best like infantry in the game and beasts.
Red spears. At once. We
Those are two of my favorites. And then the Shades are actually not quite like the best archers in the game, but they have pretty good upgrades. So they are some of the best archers in the game, cost for cost. They're not going to be as good as like Way Watchers or Sisters of Avalorn, but they're still going to be really solid.
Servant of Hecate! Sorceress of blood!
Chariots! Blood will flow! Death! Understood! Cain, forgive me!
Moving out! Massacre them!
Moving out. Blackguards! Death is coming!
I think that should about get them all.
Moving out!
So you got these slaves. They also decline at a certain rate. They added some extra little graphics here, which is pretty cool. They decline at a certain rate, so you have to like manage how fast they're declining. You know, the more slaves you put on the same town, the faster they decline, I believe. You can also use them as sacrifices to do your rites. So you kind of have to balance it out. How often are you doing rites? How often are you putting them on your towns? If you play with the crone, then you also have to use them for blood voyages, which give you buffs. So it's an interesting resource. Yeah, public order is kind of rough, so in the early game, you know, it's going to take a little while to get out from under that. It means that your lords, like, you power up pretty quickly because you've got to fight a lot of rebellions, but...
Victory is mine!
So we're just hitting this just to level up before we go running at our first enemy, the Skaven here. Mostly just to get our Fire Wizard leveled up, but...
Thieves and usurpers!
I mean, the sack might actually be
Take anything of value.
better. I thought about, like, if I loot and occupy, I could sell the building, but I don't know if I'm going to get a building that's worth
nothing
more than
behind.
500. I mean, we do get replenishment if we... yeah,
Keep
we do
your
get more
filthy
slaves
hands
just from
off.
sacking. Hi, Rory. What's up?
Search it, then burn it.
I think we might just go ahead and just sack.
You wouldn't dare!
The world will kneel.
We would get more replenishment. We didn't really take any damage, so it doesn't matter that much. Dang, she didn't level up either.
Merciless.
What are you doing? You're being silly. Okay, they have pretty good upgrades too. I mean, like, this is for Dark Shards, and the Corsair and the Bolt Throwers, Corsairs and Bolt Throwers. So pretty solid. I think getting Dreaded Slaver's pretty solid. Yeah. You can get magic with him too. Like a lot of the magic has actually been nerfed in SFO. So like this costs way more. Like it costs 9 to even cast this, and all it does is it does damage and gives you back more magic. So like you get virtually nothing out of it. I mean, it's basically worthless. And Chill Wind is like 11 now. So a lot of stuff is really expensive. It's that mid-range stuff that was already 13 or 14 is about the same cost. But the really cheap stuff is way worse. So like the Vortex spell's got a big indirect buff here. You know, things like Soul Stealer and Blade Wind are a little bit better. I think we just want to go with Line Breaker here.
Bow before Malekith.
Okay. Oh, we can move all the way and raid also. That's pretty sweet. And you get extra replenishment.
Burn it all.
Nice. Okay, tech-wise, we're just going to do business as usual. And then we want to work over towards Chart of Piracy for the extra sack money. Is it a night-night, Rory? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and upgrade that. We can't get Black Arcs until we do one of these things. Oh, we can do this right now, which would give us 200 extra experience on the Sorceress. And she gains 50%. I guess I should have done that before we fought. We might hit the town one more time here. I need to recruit, but I also need that sorceress to be a high level. Like, I need to have Burning Head before we go try to knock out these Skaven, because they're going to have like 20 units or something. So that might have been a mistake. Not to... Well, I didn't have the slaves. No, I couldn't have done it because I didn't have the slaves until after we won the fight, so no. Yes, I believe so. How much... So if I do that... Nah, I can run over here. I hate to do like the multi-sack thing early. I think it's cheesy. But what I can do is I can wait till next turn and then just activate this. I think it's, what, 2 turns? We'll see how much we get per turn. Yeah, if we walk over there, let's see. 1, 2, yeah. We can wait at least one more turn. So we're going to have to walk over here, hire... and then hire a couple more as we go in. Alright, that should be fine. No one wants anything to do with us, really.
Blood!
Maybe.
Don't waste my time with petty.
Look on me.
That's fine. So, yeah, in the early game, we're just going to want to get, you know, it's your standard stuff we get a discount on. Your spears, your swords, your dark shards. And then in the mid game, we want to try to get to the death hags because they have crack walls, which is super good for sieging. So you don't have to climb the walls and you don't have to wait on a battering ram, because the doors just take forever to break down. Like, it's just, even if something has siege attacker, it'll take it like 5 minutes to break down a door. It's pretty ridiculous with this mod, but. But we should be able to go over there and hire, and then next turn we can do the magic thing, the magic buff on the sorceress, sacrifice the 500 slaves. Hey, thanks so much for the sub, I appreciate it. Sacrifice the 500 slaves, that should give us Burning Head, and that'll be enough in the early game to get us through most of the Skaven. And then hopefully we can come back. You cannot take off taxation on a province to help with public order, so you constantly have to have the taxation. With other factions, if you take off taxation, it saves you like 5 or 10 public order. But we're not going to have that option. Now, the good news is a lot of rebellions are not going to be able to siege Nagron. So that does buy us a little bit of time, because Nagron's going to have a really good garrison, just insane, because it's a faction capital.
Lord of the Black Tower.
Okay, so we're just going to come like... I think we go right here, and then come over. I don't know if we can do it without Route March or whatever, but...
Moving. How malicious.
Just need more of a front line here. It is very expensive to hire the units, though, but... yeah, I mean, Dark Shards aren't that great against Skaven. Okay, and then how much did she get just for sitting here for a turn?
King.
Okay, she gets 150 just for sitting there, so I guess I don't really need to level her up. She's going to level herself up. We just hold on to that. So we want to try to get to tier 4. It's tough because you need to get all the slave buildings early, but you also want growth. Get up to tier 4. Black Arcs are okay, but like particularly around here, enemy Dark Elves will just come and kill it. So I feel like it's not really worth like early on. It's okay like with what's his name down south in Lustria, the Karen Carr guy. You get Black Arcs early. You have the ability to get more Black Arcs, which are nice. Like, they allow you to recruit, like, on the move, especially the Corsairs, but they are expensive. You know, they do They're okay. Like, they're cool. They're a cool thing. We're gonna get them later, but it's just kind of, like, unsafe. They do give you, like, really good bonuses, like the free projectiles or whatever. Like, you basically get 9 free bombardment spells. So that part's really good. It's just hard to protect him up here. So he does have a much better version of that down there. It's just because, like, you're competing for money, public order, and growth, like, really hard with Dark Elves. Then a lot of times like, growth can kind of fall by the wayside, and it can take a while to get to your sorcerers, because I think you don't get sorcerers until, like, tier 3 or tier 4
Power.
with Dark Elves. Except for Malekith gets one early. What's her name might get one early too. I can't remember. Hellebron. We're just gonna do faction-wide caps, which means we have to have elite
My
buildings.
cruelty knows no limits.
Now, I think we can go to, like, right here and get it next turn.
Carnage awaits.
Okay, so we should be able to hit Harqualda next turn.
I would flay this traitor myself.
Okay. That's the biggest thing. You got to get that burning head. It's still really good. The rest of this stuff is so expensive, though. Like, this is, now, they did increase the time on this. 40 seconds is a pretty long time. And you get 60-60. Missile damage and weapon damage. So that's pretty good. We'll probably use that. Cascading Fire Cloak, they just nerfed the hell out of this. Like, it used to cost 4, now it costs 10. But you still have Burning Head, you still have Flaming Sword of Ruin, so that's really good. And then late game, Flamestorm is a bit more expensive, but it can potentially be strong. Okay.
I hate snow.
Yeah, we got that. I'm just gonna raid a couple of slaves, casualty replenishment, all that good stuff. Then next turn we might go for this so that she gets more experience, more magic. I don't know, is there really a point leveling her up right now? I mean, the extra magic is nice, but maybe I want to hold on to those slaves for something else. It's like, once you have Burning Head, that's kind of all you need early.
Furious.
Okay. So yeah, you want to get to Witch Elves. You can try to go for Shades early if you want to. The Shades are very good, but they are definitely way more expensive than Dark Shards, especially because Malekith gets the discount on them, so we do want Shades eventually, but you really want to wait till you can get the tier 4 Shades, the ones with great swords, so it gives you like an extra 50 range or something, because they have pretty low range. Like your Dark Shards, I think, only have like 130 range, and Shades might have 140. So by comparison, like, most archers are around like 170. Like the elite ones are 190, 200. But you can get a lot of buffs to range with the Shades, where you can get them eventually up to like close to 200. And they can fight pretty well in combat, and they have heavy armor piercing damage as well. So they are very, very good late game. I think they might actually have stalk as well. Like, they might be invisible when they're firing until you get close to them. I can't remember, but once they get all the upgrades, they're really good. It just takes a while to get the upgrades. So we're just going to stick with kind of our standard bread and butter Dark Shard type of units early on. Then once you get to tier 4 is when you start getting the elite stuff. That's when you can start getting your Blackguard of Nagaron consistently, and your Hydras, which are pretty cool. Yeah, we'll let some Beastmen show up. It's fine.
Fear me.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get a real fight here.
Death follows with me. Slaughter them.
There's Skaven. Like I said, you gotta have Burning Head to kill them, because they're gonna have whatever this number is, 25 to 30 units.
Flay them first.
Let's do it. Skaven barbecue. Burning Head's still one of the best spells in the game. If you ever watch any of my campaigns, you know fire magic is really strong. I remember It's been nerfed numerous times on SFO. I don't remember if it's nerfed on the baseline game, but I remember Legend of Total War. I don't even think he had fire magic in the top 5. He may have had it in the 5th slot when he was ranking like the highest, like the best magic. I think he had like light magic up there. I'm like, dude, what are you smoking? I mean, it was like light magic for a while there was good in multiplayer because of Net of Amantok, but fire magic's crazy good. Like the only magic for the longest time that could really stand up to fire magic was life magic. But life magic's been nerfed a ton on this patch. Or like with, yeah, this patch specifically made a lot of like your cheap spells you could spam way more expensive. So it doesn't hurt fire magic that much because like your marquee spells are Burning Head and the Flame Tunnel.
Sorceress of Grond!
Bolt throwers! Following orders. Bloody murder! The merciless host!
The destroyer hungers!
Dealers in death! Following orders. Dark shards! It is done. Onwards to murder!
He's surrounded by these rats.
Dealers in death! Forward!
Forward!
Yeah, these elves are more durable than like the wood elves. The wood elves have like extremely low stuff. As far over here, I think their shots are getting blocked.
Black guards! Dark shards! Forward! Onwards to murder!
Advancing! Annihilate them!
On to slaughter! Advancing! Battle ready! We are ready! Dealers in death! Forward! Merciless warriors! Dark elves! Dark shards!
On to murder!
Druki, forward! Dread spears! No survivors! Dirt! Battle ready! As you
See,
say,
the AI is just like so much
Nagarothi.
better. Like they really do try to go for these
For the
flanks
king! Merciless
much
warriors!
more than they used to in the past.
The Witch King!
Chariots! Advance,
Let's see if we
Druki!
can wrap around here.
We are ready!
The
Chariots! By your command. Druki, forward! The merciless host! Die, weaklings! Onwards to murder, dark elves! Chariots! By Drakira!
Malekith!
Ready!
I might just want to go ahead and do
Lord
an
of
ice
Magma.
blast. It's so expensive that I'll run him.
Sorceress of Grond! Seeking victims!
Druki! Cold-blooded killers! Kill them!
Malekith!
Merciless warriors! Dread spears!
Sorceress of Grond! Sarrow then!
Chariots! Bloody murder! Bolt throwers! Glorious destruction!
They're probably gonna rally
Druki,
back. but-
forward! Destroy! Black guards! We understand! Chariots! Onward!
Chosen of King! Carnage!
Forward! End them!
Those cause fear. Okay.
Death is coming!
All shall tremble!
Nagarothi! Slaughter them! My
So we
blade
activated that
hungers.
purple there from killing so many units.
Eager for battle.
They
To
will eventually
destruction.
rally back, so you gotta
We
be careful.
understand.
Like I need to keep these guys over here. Because they will go for your people. Like, they will try to pick off stuff.
Onward! Blood will flow!
Let's reform.
Dread spears! Battle ready! With pleasure!
Malekith! Carnage forth!
Keep it close to the vest here.
Kill everything! Kill them! By Drakira! Eager for battle!
Malekith! It is done!
Carnage awaits! Onward! No survivors! Make them bleed!
Destruction awaits!
Chariots! Carnage awaits! Bolt throwers! It is done. We are ready! To destruction! Moving out! On to slaughter! Slaughter them! Dread spears!
Yeah, this campaign's definitely SFO like on Legendary is way harder than it used to be. Way harder. I can tell you. I practiced this run a little bit. I had to recalibrate some stuff. I was trying the Karen Car one. I've been working on some Beastmen, like, it's no joke. They added a lot of stuff that makes it like way harder, which I like. I welcome the challenge.
Swiftly!
Yeah, it's not necessarily a cakewalk like that. You know, that we dominated that, but let's see if we can get a couple of good fights in here. So the technologies we want to go for early on is we want the sacking one that you just saw, and then we want to go over and get the stuff that upgrades the archers, the dark shards, because in a lot of fights, like, most of your kills are going to come from your wizard and your archers. Now that one was a little bit different because our archers just couldn't get a lot of clean shots. They didn't have any archers themselves. But when we're like sieging and things like that, it's going to be a lot more worthwhile to, or the archers are going to seem a lot more worthwhile. Yeah, against Skaven in particular, archers typically aren't that great just because they swarm you. Like, most swarming factions are very good against missile infantry. You just don't have enough ammo, you don't fire fast enough to kill them. That's where the fire comes in. You gotta burn them with fire, as the meme goes. So yeah, I do not want to loot and occupy, because that's gonna... wow.
Leave nothing behind.
Oh, normal occupy is this. Yeah, I think we just have to sack here.
Take it all.
You do have really high replenishment too, off of just sacking things and winning fights, as the elves. I guess we just sack, because I can't do loot and occupy. If you sack, like, what you want to do a lot of the times is sack and then occupy, because when you sack it, then it's them as their faction gets that penalty, not you.
Bow before Malekith.
Right? Or did they change that? Slaves, yeah, slaves negative 16. So the slaves are crushing us right now. So yeah, we're getting an extra 300 income, but we are getting negative 16 public order for that. So yeah, it starts to get rough really quickly.
My cruelty knows no limits.
So we're gonna have to wait till next turn, and then I guess we just go. I'm gonna do Root Marcher next. Line Breaker. Okay, income. Elves.
King of the Druki.
Okay, we'll just move over here. Now.
The Witch King is victorious.
So there's gonna be a rebellion in what, 2 turns? So we could just run back down here, I suppose.
Malekith, King of Nagaroth. Give them to Cain.
So we could come back down here, kill this rebellion, or we could just let the rebellion fester and, like, if I'd looted and occupied, then it would have caused the rebellion right there. We could just let the rebellion fester and just say whatever and run down here, take altar, come back, take this, and then kill them.
There is growing unrest.
Okay, so this, we don't have any trade partners. We're probably not going to get any trade partners for a little bit. This is 10 per 100 slaves, so we have 2,000, so that'd be 200 gold per turn if we got that, which is okay, but this gives us straight up 200 gold per turn also. So that's really not worth, until you upgrade to this. So then if we have like 200 then we'd get 400 gold, so that would be worth. Now this, you don't want to rush the public order like right away a lot of times. Like this gives 1 public order and slave decline rate and all that. This is also kind of expensive, it's 1,500 gold. But our public order is just so terrible early on, it's just not going to matter. Hero action cost, income from slaves minus 6%. And then slave decline rate plus 6%. Now, I think that's only in the province, not faction-wide, when we have bad public order. But yeah, okay, so we can either go growth early on, which, like I said, is nice. We get to tier 3, the biggest thing that we want is the Death Hag, because of the damage walls ability. I mean, she's pretty good in general, but the damage walls is the big kicker. However, we don't need stuff here. The Sisters of Slaughter are okay. The problem is they don't have any armor. But tier 4, like I said, is where it starts ramping up when you get these, the Shades with dual weapons here, this 175 range, because normally they have 120. And then getting to some of these Hydras and Carabidises and things like that are nice. These are those Manticore Lords that you could get. They're all the way up at tier 5. Okay. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go money. I guess, I mean, we could upgrade to this, but I guess the Bleak Swords are better than the Spears against normal things. What is it? 38, 36, 36. 38, 36. I mean, barely, right? They are, like, marginally an upgrade over the Spears. But the Spears probably have more piercing. They have 10 pierce. These actually do have more piercing. But they do get that bonus versus large. So it's like, I would give up like 2 base melee attack if you're like way better against large. They all have silver shields. Now these, the shielded missiles are definitely going to be a little bit better. Actually, these do way more damage. These do 34 damage. That's a huge deal. So yeah, I don't even think it's worth upgrading this right now. These are okay, like the Dark Riders and things. The Doomfire Warlocks are cool because you can like cast spells with them, but they're kind of expensive for what they are. These repeater crossbows can be good, but the thing is we're going to be fighting a lot of Dark Elves up here, and Dark Elves, guess what they have a lot of? Missile infantry. You know, we're going to see a lot of Dark Shards and things like that, and these are not going to be great against those types of units, so... Now, the Dark Shards with shields, you know, having those shields, though, against other Dark Shards that don't have shields is a pretty big deal. But I think we just want to go with that, and we could either go with this for the extra money, or we could go with this for the growth. Our growth is pretty atrocious right now. This is really cheap, too. It's only 500 gold. I think we do want to grow. So we just go money plus grow, and then... eventually, once we get more slaves and greater slave capacity, then we can go ahead and upgrade these. But they are very, very expensive to upgrade those. They nerf the hell out of those. It used to be cheaper, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Alright, don't need any of this. Okay. So we gotta decide if we want to go down there and fight a rebellion, or if we want to go for Harqualda. Or, Altar of Ultimate Darkness. If we go down there and go for the Skaven, there will be a rebellion at our town, but I think we can handle it. We can actually hire a ward there, and just put a couple of units and just have them on like rebellion patrol. It's like I said, we have a really good garrison, so we don't really need to, don't really need a big army, but having someone there just to gain the experience, although it's going to cost me gold per turn to mess with them, it could be pretty nice. I'm not sure of our options. I know fire magic is really good. They didn't upgrade, the SFO did not upgrade the tooltips. I don't even know if they can or how hard that would be. But when you look at like the magic stuff, when you click on magic, it doesn't show you. Like it still says that Cascading Fire Cloak is 4 mana, even though like I know for a fact that it is 10 now. So I don't really know the numbers on some of these things until we look at them. I don't remember if we have death magic or not, but death magic could potentially be pretty good. They do have Purple Sun, which they said they did nerf it on this patch by 15% the damage, but I still think it's going to wipe everybody up in a siege. But Burning Head and the Flame Pillar also do that, so. Okay, rumors are false. Empire can fight each other. I think that's what I'm going to do, because I need to make progress here. I just can't sit around and run back. Just play the footsie and run back and forth and kill rebellions. Like, we need to go. So we could either go Sheaf Master, or we could get Dreaded Slaver for more slaves. Dark Shards. I think I want Dreaded Slaver. That's extremely good too, though. Looting settlement, sack. So we get 15% on sack and 20% on raid. It's pretty legit, especially because raiding doesn't cost us any movement whatsoever. Even beastmen have to spend 25% on raiding, and I was like, why? Like, that's their whole thing. Okay, so I guess we're gonna pass on Sheaf Master, and we gotta decide. Do we want more slaves, or do we want Infamous Raider? My instinct says slaves, but could totally be wrong. I mean, we're gonna get both of them either way. How are we looking on slaves right now? I think we're almost at capacity, right? Yeah, we're losing like 16% a turn. Yeah, I think. How much is the rating worth? We're only getting 100 something right now. Yeah, I guess the raids aren't going to be that big against Skaven. Yeah, let's just go with Dreaded Slaver. Okay, and then she is going to get the 3-point discount, I'm pretty sure, right? Well, there's no point upgrading it, though. I guess it does lower the cooldown by... Okay, normal Burning Head is reduced by 2 also, though. Like, the only thing you get by upgrading is you get a bigger, like, area of effect, which I guess normal is not that much... Yeah, whatever, we'll just get into it at the point. But normal is not that much cheaper.
Purity.
I mean, let me see with her real quick.
This worm cannot be trusted.
It's 18 for normal, upgraded to 20, so I guess it's just like... Or upgraded 17 now? What? It's actually cheaper for upgraded? Am I reading that right? No, it's 16. Okay. And then it's 17 for upgrade. So it's literally just 1 more point to upgrade. I guess it makes sense then. Okay. Anyways, so we're gonna...
My cruelty knows no limits.
Come over here. Now, we could have occupied this and then hire some more units if we want to, but I think this crew's probably going to be good enough against the Skaven. We're definitely going to be facing probably more Skaven here than we did the first time, so they've had more turns to recruit.
Only the weak fear the cold.
I guess we can wait on the recruit. Oh, we do have death magic. Okay. Shadows, death. I wish I could see what the upgraded amount is. I think getting a Sorceress Lord is really good. In the base game, I don't like that. Oh, beasts. Beast is actually quite good early game against Skaven specifically.
Do not vex us
Because
further.
of Flock of Doom. I guess that's a new one. I don't remember them ever being able to get beasts before. We got Dark, Beasts, Death, Shadows, Fire. I don't think these are upgraded either. Dark Magic's not that good, I don't think. Still. Beast is better. Yeah, it's not upgraded, because it says this is 12. It is not 12. It's like... It's way more, I'm pretty sure. And the cooldown, I think, is longer. So we get a Manticore with that. Yeah, I mean, you basically just spam Flock of Doom, pretty much. Which is pretty good. Now, Death. You do get a nice debuff here that you can put on him, the leadership. Now, another thing that's pretty nice is you can cause terror, which is really strong in Skaven. We're going to be fighting Dark Elves probably on this siege, though. Spirit Leech, Doom and Darkness. You can lower everybody's leadership by 22, which is really nice. Now, Purple Sun is not that great against... not that great, like, open field, unless you have a lot of monsters, like the Vortex spells aren't. They're great in sieges, but not otherwise. So I think this is going to be better, like, late game than Beasts will be, but Beasts are better early game. So I'm kind of torn. Do I want to start upgrading a Sorceress now for late game, or do I want to make sure that I can cover this siege properly? You can also get Beasts in your first tier of Magic versus... I think we gotta go Beasts for this. It's just, we're not gonna be able to get to Purple Sun, and it's not gonna be as good in a siege as the other option. So we'll wait one turn and then we'll hire, because I'm pretty sure our garrison's crazy. We just need a Lord here to chill. Just put some Beast Magic on it. We should be able to beat him. Okay, it's fine, whatever. So we just have to have like a designated rebel killer, basically.
Mother of bandying words with you will not please my... You overreach!
Yeah, Beast is one of the best early games. I still don't know about Death. It's like, I think on sieges, like I said, Purple Sun's really good. Soul Blight, that debuff, it's pretty nice. I mean, they're the king of lowering leadership, basically. You can lower leadership by 22. Something just burned. Something over there. Heard it explode. You can lower leadership by 22. If Malekith is close by, that's an additional 5. That's 27. Then you can Soul Blight, that's 32. And you can do an AoE terror as well if you upgrade your terror thing. So they're really good at hitting leadership and getting units to rout. But their direct damage is not insane. The Vortex is good. Whereas Beasts, basically, like, it's pretty much you're getting them for Flock of Doom early, which is insane against lightly armored, like, big masses of units like Skaven. Probably still pretty good against early Dark Elf units, too. And then you can also get a Manticore with them. But everything else is pretty trash with Beasts. But that's how a lot of the spells are now, because they nerfed all of the stuff you can spam. Then you kind of have to go with your big, heavy-hitting, like, 15-pointers, which means you're only casting, like, 1, maybe 2 different kinds of spells per battle. Versus, like, something with life magic in the past, you could just constantly just spam out a lot of spells because they'd get so cheap. I think the healing spell for life was originally, like, 3 for AoE healing on your whole army, or, like, everyone within, like, I think it used to be 40 meters. It's crazy. But life magic's been nerfed out a ton. Okay, raiding by the Dark Elves. Somebody burn this. Alright, we get some stability, whatever.
No.
Now, they said sometimes there's an event when a rebellion spawns. 1,500 to only get 150 more gold is ridiculous. I mean, I know it gets modified by the slaves, but still, that's pretty nutty. Okay, so he's got some units. Alright, let's see if we can get one more fight here.
Oh, malicious.
much going on there.
Merciless host.
Hoping we get one more quick fight this episode. I try to do one, but really I like to get 2 or 3 fights if I can in an episode. Tome of Furion. I've never heard of that. There's a lot of like special magic. Okay, it's bombardment. Okay. Yeah, we got to sack for the slaves, and then occupy.
My power grows. Victory is mine.
We get sacrificed to Cain if we want it.
King of Nagaroth. King of Nagaroth.
Alright, I think just Dreaded Slaver. You really want to get into the blue tree with most factions early on because that's typically like your money and your campaign stuff. And you can get around without getting a lot of red things early because usually just get like whatever affects your early game grunt units, gives them a buff, and then you just usually go into the blue tree. Sometimes if they have really powerful magic, or if you don't have a wizard that you start with like Malekith, then you have to go into get at least a little bit of magic early on, like we did in the Beastman campaign.
The buildings are crumbling.
Okay, don't really well, how much growth does that give? Oh, no, hold on. Stop. How much growth is that? 5 growth for 576. Oh, that's a growth building. It's literally the same. What? 10. Okay, it just actually doesn't do anything. The slave decline rate's higher. Okay. We'll just let those heal on their own. Actually, I want to get rid of this and get money. I'm going to demolish it. Put a money building in there. We're just kind of saving up right now our money. Sacrifice to Cain. Extra replenishment. Massive slave decline, though. So we need to kind of save this. It's just like an oh crap button. Because it does give us a little bit extra melee attack and post-battle loot. Okay, so we'll take that. We would like to upgrade this to get the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, which is pretty cool. Like, it's thematically, it's cool, but it doesn't really, like, do that much for you, honestly. Okay. Now, this guy's gonna siege us here pretty soon. I guess we probably better go ahead and get this before we get, kind of punked. And I think we're just going to go with Beast just to make sure we can do something early. Leadership and fighting against High Elves. Harpies, who cares? Okay, so both of those are kind of bad, but, like... I mean, fire's pretty good, too. Like, Burning Head is not as great for sieges because a lot of the stuff is going to be up on your rafters. -2 in enemy regions. I guess let's go with this. She has more leadership, most likely.
Supreme Sorceress of Bronze, taking control.
So yeah, it's annoying that I'm gonna have to be here for this. I mean, I guess I don't have to be here, but I want some experience for the rebellions that are gonna come through.
Blood Queen. I have little time or love for diplomacy. Cain, take you.
Alright. Keep cranking here. See if we get one more good fight. Yeah, because you have to have I hate having a second Lord early. It's just such a waste of gold. But I have to sit there and kill rebellions constantly. Or, you know, they can attack me with the rebellion. I mean, maybe I don't need someone sitting there. Maybe I'm paying too much to try to level up that sorceress. Maybe it doesn't matter, but I'm gonna see. I mean, the garrisons are, or the rebellions are supposed to be a little bit stronger here, so when they attack me, I'm gonna attack them and see kind of what's happening here. It is very nice that Nagaroth is like has such a crazy garrison though, compared to some of the other factions. just allows you to kind of shrug off a lot of rebellions. So we'll see how it looks. If we're just like completely slaughtering them, then maybe we just delete her. And maybe that was just a waste of 1,200 gold, but I don't want to risk it early on until I'm sure like what they're going to be packing over there. They can get up to tier 3 units, but if they have like all shades and like all corsairs or something, like maybe that's going to be a problem.
Your prestige grows, my lord.
Alright.
News of your conquest spreads far and...
Domination, got it.
Lord of the Black Tower. I am the Witch King.
We got a couple units over there, whatever. You notice they get, it's not going to give us any money because we haven't discovered Skaven here yet. You know, so they get to higher end at rank 8. They get +7 ranks on Legendary.
Supreme Sorceress of Grond.
Okay. Oh. We can get another money building. All about that money. Like I said, I don't think we need to hire any extra units or anything here. I don't think we can stance while we're... I guess we could do that. Vanguard, that doesn't matter. Now, there are Norskins up to the upper left of us, and then there are some off to the right as well that we got to deal with. Hopefully, Harganeth can be a little buffer zone for us off to the right, so we don't have to play around with them, and we can just go south. Now, the Dark Elf that's directly below us, it can be difficult to siege other Dark Elves early on. Depends on your composition. I mean, the Fire Wizard definitely helps, and all of the Dark Shards, but I want to make sure that I get the Nagaron province itself secured first. And honestly, I would probably like to go and knock out the Norskins early, although it looks like... Oh, she's coming for me, okay. Well, she's going to raid me, I guess, because there's no way she's going to siege me with that.
The Druid have no friends, only victims.
Nice. No, sir. You're gonna die. We might be able to get a trade agreement with them now that they have this property secured. I should have looked at that last time. I don't remember if I did or not. Sure.
Short-sighted.
It's hard to tell what they have, but slaves. We're still making decent money. Not that crazy, but okay. Let's go ahead and get a fight in here.
Indeed. Spreading
We're almost out of time. Okay. I do want to keep these to an hour, so we'll start off the next episode with the fight against the Skaven. Sorry, I was trying to hunt for a second one. Usually I like to do multiple fights per episode if I can. But we'll start off next time. We should be able to clean up these Skaven. We're going to have to manually resolve it, I think. I mean, hell, maybe we can just auto it. You know what? Let's just auto it.
moving back.
because there's not another threat like that close to here, and we're gonna get a lot of replenishment anyways. We're gonna get 15% replenishment. We're gonna massacre them. We want to try to get to some of the more interesting fights here. I mean, I could have had a decisive victory.
Curse you,
but,
thing!
Leave nothing behind.
we could loot and occupy
Search it, then burn it.
this time because there's already a lot of rebellions here, but
Take anything of value.
let's just...
I am unstoppable.
I don't care if it's a high level. I just want to put a money building in there for now. Extra stuff for that.
Bow before Malekith. King Malekith.
We don't have that much replenishment, but I think it's still fine. Okay. So we can do Circulative Iron. I think... Eternal Hatred. I think we're just going to go for Serve or Die here, or Infamous Raider. Get that money. I mean, maybe going for Sheaf Master is better. You know what? Maybe because we are going to be sieging those Dark Elves, and the extra having the Dark Shards be a bit stronger would be nice. So let's go ahead and we'll go for that. We are going to want to hire some more Dark Shards here soon. +8 Magical Reserve sounds good, and Kindle Flame, weakness to fire. Okay. Rakdos Gorge. Get rid of that. We can throw in a money building soon. It's going to be another rebellion here in a little bit. Yeah, we don't need any of that. And then we have to just go up and go for Harqualda. As soon as we take out Harqualda, we can go ahead and recruit some units right here, right now. We are going to be going against the Norska, who are going to have like the little axe throwing horses probably, and maybe the spear chucking dudes. I can't remember the names off of them. So the this is going to be a little bit better, and they don't have a lot of shields, I don't think. So they are kind of vulnerable to Dark Shards early on. They increase the recruitment cost a lot for a lot of buildings, or a lot of units too, as you can see. So this is what I was talking about. You get this, and it scales up over time, I believe. So plus 5% upkeep for everybody, and minus 20 diplomacy. I have 3 towns right now, and it's saying that
Cease your
I have
provocations.
a kind of strong Imperium. So that's gonna make it much, much harder to have any sort of diplomacy with people.
Helebron! Make haste. I have rights to lead. Weak and feeble.
Oh, no, we're gonna definitely kill Mung. It says they're kind of strong, so we got to be a little careful with that. But I think if we get up to close to a 20 stack on the way up here, if we just hire twice more, I think we'll be able to kill them. We don't have Lightning Strike or anything yet, but our growth is so slow. It's 2 to upgrade, right? The main town. Can't remember. Yeah, it's only 2. Okay. Anyways, oh, I forgot we have public order and all these problems with this too, because this is not considered a place where we can live. 50% construction time. I guess that's normal. Okay. So we're going through. Rebellion's probably going to hit us here pretty soon. Might start getting a little more money. I mean, she's only charging us $236, but it is charging an extra like 8% per army. I think they may have actually lowered the amount. I'll have to look at what the supply line debuff is, but I think they may have lowered the amount of upkeep for having extra armies, because I think they said that they wanted you to be able to have some extra armies. In the base game, like just Warhammer 2, every extra army that you have beyond the first on Legendary is 15% upkeep for all armies. So you are extremely incentivized to just have like one massive army instead of multiple like smaller armies, which really hurts a lot of the swarm factions. Wow, okay. So they've got a lot of units coming at us, huh? I'm intrigued now that they're getting that aggressive. We don't have Flock of Doom yet. I don't believe she comes with Flock of... She might. I'll have to click and see if she comes with Flock of Doom. Sometimes Lords come with a free spell or two. But I don't believe that she's going to come with Flock of Doom. Durthu does. We'll see. If she comes with Flock of Doom, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to win. Okay, so they're all just like swarming around Nagaron. Can they? Do they really have enough units to challenge this right now? Okay, so it's only 5%. So they did lower it a little bit. It used to be 8%, I think, on Legendary with SFO. I realize we're pretty much at time here. About to be a second rebellion popping up.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
What do you seek?
Okay, she does come with Flock of Doom for free. So I am pretty confident we're going to be able to take that.
Foolish request.
8 units.
Foolish
So they have
request.
20 units. They already have, like... How do they already have all those shades? They have a tier 3 town? How are they getting more shade? Like, they don't have any other properties, right?
Noble of Nagaroth.
They actually literally don't have a building that can build shades. Or what am I missing? Do they just come with shades or something?
Denied.
That's 3. They start off with 3 shades? Huh. Alright, I mean, we still have 2 Blackguard of Nagaron. All of these things. There's going to be towers beaten down on them. Got a couple of Reapered Bolt Throwers. Cold One Knights are like tier 4 or tier 5 cav that we can sally out with and flank. I mean, we could also just fight them right now.
Definitely not.
We'll take a look at that next
Unparalleled
battle.
power.
We might actually sally out on them.
Definitely not.
Because
What
we
is
do
your
have Bolt
dark
Throwers. We
purpose?
have
Unthinkable.
Flock of
Mother
Doom.
the Dark Convent.
We have a ton of like Dark Shards with shields, which are very good against shades, because you outrange them and your shields block like 65%, right? 65% of their fire. Bolt Throwers, we have good cav. Yeah, I think we can beat them if we sally out on them. So we'll start off next episode with that. We'll probably just go out, bust them up, and then with him,
Of Cain.
we'll go ahead and just go up here and see if we can take out Norska. We'll hire a few more units. As soon as we bust them off of this right here, then we'll hire a few more units. Now, somebody I know is going to say, oh, you're sitting on 23,000 gold. Why don't you, look, you got to save money because sometimes you need to hire stuff or you need to build buildings. I mean, it's expensive. So, like, my theory always is the more, if you can get away with it, you need to do it. If you can get away with having a smaller army or just running, like, lower tier units or whatever, like, you need to do it. But anyways, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks very much. As always, I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to stay tuned for future episodes. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Special thanks again to Diego for sponsoring. If you'd like to sponsor a campaign yourself, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. Let me know what you have in mind, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.